Welcome to FLIR Thermal Studio. In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at creating a new reporting template. To create a new template, what we need to do is click at the top left and click New. And then as we scroll down, we can create a new reporting template. So you can see we've got a clear screen here. We've got a toolbar across the top. We've got quite a few tools. We've got document properties. We've got a formula editor, which I'm just going to go into and show you. If I click on that, we've got a series of formulas. Now, this function, this enables you to create your own formula and then use that formula from the thermal images in the actual template or the final report. I'm just showing you this now, and if you need to create a formula, this is where you do it. We've also got another function here in the same tools box, and it's called a text annotation template. And this enables you to assign labels and values to the thermal images that you take. I'm going to click on this. I've got two here already. I've got an example one template, and I've got a cat one. This is used for category 1 training. If you need to create a template, you can create a template just by clicking the button there, and it's fairly self-explanatory. You put in labels and values. So we've got a blank page. If we move over now to the insert image, we've got a thermogram, a thermal image button, and what I've done is just put a thermal image on the page, and next to that I've also got a daylight picture. And it's really easy to build the report as we go. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to move the daylight picture under the thermal because I want to add a few other components. From the plot component here, what I'm going to do is put a map in. So any of the images with GPS coordinates, it will show where they are on the map. And I'm also going to input a profile function. And this will only become active if we use a line or a profile in the image. So you can see to the right hand side, we can configure all of the components or the tools that we put on the page. And if I double click on the infrared image, I'm just going to go up to the tools button here, and I'm just going to include a line. Okay, just a line. So we've got a representation of the profile, and I'm also going to put in an area box and some spots, just so that when we look at a results table, we've got some results in there. Okay, so what I need to do is save those, and I need to close that. Moving down a little bit, so we've got a profile, we've got a daylight picture, we've got a thermal picture. I want to include some data tables. We've got a lot of configurable tables here, but the easiest way is to add predefined tables from the toolbar. And this is a parameters table. I'm just going to add 3 different tables here. I'm going to put a measurements table in, and that's already started to complete itself from the measurements we've put on there. And I'm going to put in a camera information table here. So I can move this around. We can configure the page as we want to see it. Now, moving down a bit, we've got some blank area. If it's okay to have blank areas on a report page, you don't have to fill it with lots of statistical data. But let's put in just a generic text box. And what this means is that you will be able to just type in. You'll have a box, type in, text, for the report. Now, if you move over to the right-hand side, we can select a border color or a background color and configure this text box to how we want it to look. I'm just going to include another one, just another one here, and just moving down, I'm just going to write something in here. So I'll just double click, and I'm just going to write in recommendations. And what I can do then is I can move that and put that within the text box. If we look at the top, I've got a logo tool. So what I can do is insert a logo in the image. Okay, it's a little bit big, but what we can do, we can move that up the page and resize that. So when I generate my report, I can put the logo in where I want it to be. I'm just going to resize this a little bit. It doesn't need to be too much of a dominant feature on the page. And I'm just going to put a heading on here. I'm going to put in a little text box and just move that up the screen just so that we can put in that this is a tutorial template and not a full-blown professional template. Okay, so I'm just going to double click on here and just going to call it Thermal Studio Training. If I want to configure the text, let's just enlarge the text box a little bit, and if I go over to the side here, I can configure the size. So let's put it to a 20 font, and I can configure the alignment. Where's it going to sit within that text box? And I can even change the color of that if I want to. What other type of fields do we have? We've got a data text field here. This is quite a nice field because if I put a data box in, we can have it anywhere on the page. And if we go up to insert thermal field, this group of tools here, what I can do is I can specify what data I want to go into that data box. So it could be, the camera serial number. Okay, it's going to come up as a generic number, but once you put a thermal image in there, it will display the correct serial number. It may be a text annotation. It may be a parameter. So let's say, okay, well, it's going to be the emissivity, and we can put that on there. We can also include page numbers and document numbers and things like that. And even from the formula, if we have another data box, we're just going to move it down so we can see what it is, and we click on the formula tab here. What we can do is select the formula that we want to use from the formulas that we've predefined within the software. So I'm just going to choose a very simple one here. Difference in temperature between 2 spot meters, and I've put 2 spots on that image so we should be able to get a result. Just double click on that, and it should give us a reading here. So configuring the page is important. You can make the page appear as you want it to, and even when you're creating a report, you still have the ability to change the way the page appears. You can delete tables, you can add things from the toolbar.